All right, we are live again for our, I don't know what week this is, but another consecutive week of answering anything, everything real estate, investing related. Back again, thanks for joining. Again, we do this every week, 12 o'clock, Thursdays. We've been consistently doing this for probably about, about 2 months. Gained a considerable amount of followings when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I thank you guys for continuously showing up. We already got one of the consistent followers on here, Reggie. What's going on, man? Thank you for showing up again. Thanks. Yes, congrats. I did close on another property yesterday. Basically just want to get back at it, let you guys know that we're here for you. I am, as well as other folks that we're going to have on the show week in, week out. This week we do have another special guest, actually the same guest that we had last week, which was Richard Anthony. He should be joining in here shortly, but basically just want to go ahead and kick this thing off. Again, remember, we're here every week, each and every week, Thursdays, 12 o'clock, answering anything, everything real estate related, and willing to help you guys out with whatever your endeavors are regarding real estate, whether that's you trying to buy your first house, whether you're trying to buy your 10th or 100th house, financing, how to wholesale, how to flip houses, anything like that. Basically, that's why we're here. So I want to make sure that I make that abundantly clear. And so when you guys consistently show up week in and week out, make sure you have your questions. Make sure you come in with some things that you want to clarify, and I will do my best to answer those. So while we wait for Richard to come in, I just want to let you guys file in as you guys, as time moves on. We already got Reggie in. We got X-Men Doctor join. What's going on, man? How you doing? This is your first time. Just know that we're here answering anything, everything real estate every week. Feel free to drop your comments or anything like that, your questions in the comment section. If you would like to join the live, if Richard's not on at some point in time, then yes, we will. I will allow you guys to jump on the live with me. Hey, what's up from New York City? Hey, hope you're staying safe out there. Are you into real estate? Let me know. New York's a very interesting market. I would like to know if that's a place where you are investing, or if you're looking to invest. Price points are vastly different there in New York than they are in Baltimore here. So if you are in the game out there, I would like to know what you're doing, how you're doing, and things like that. So thank you for showing up, X-Men Doctor. Appreciate you. Who else we got up in here? Well, we got 2 people right now, but we're going to grow this thing out. Keneal's joined. What's going on, Keneal? It's my line brother. How you doing, man, down there in Florida? No, you're not in Florida. I think you're still in Louisiana? Either way, Keneal consistently shows up. So, again, thank you guys for supporting. I'll go ahead and kick this off and let you guys know that yesterday I did close on another property. It serves as a rental and or a flip. I haven't decided yet. I am trying to, this property can go a couple different ways, right? When you buy right, you have multiple exit strategies. When you buy, you got to think about, what is my exit strategy, right? You don't ever want to buy a deal and then end up being stuck in that deal and not having a way to get out of the deal, right? So when I look at this deal, when I looked at the deal that we bought yesterday, it was more so like, refinancing right now is kind of tough for some folks, right? In the know, what's going on? Appreciate you for showing up again consistently. I know you've been on here for a while down there in DC. I know you told me you're interested in buying, so thanks for joining. Remember, drop your questions here below if you have any. But appreciate that, Keneal. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a blessing. I said this on Twitter the other day. I said this on Twitter yesterday. Look, anytime I close on a property, I treat it just like it's my first. I'm never too big or never too high on myself, and when it comes to closing on properties, it's a blessing to be able to even do that, because some people never even buy their own first property, right? So I treat every closing like it's my first, staying humble and things like that, because again, these opportunities don't come up that often. So back to the deal. Oh, we got Words Wine and the Purpose. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. We are waiting on Richard to show up. He is supposed to be joining us today. That is the special guest, if you did see the ad. So while we wait on Richard, I'll go ahead and keep talking about the deal that I purchased yesterday. So yeah, refinances. Refinance is a little bit difficult nowadays. So especially with mortgage lenders and things like that. So for me, it's like, all right, well, I bought the deal at a great price. In fact, I'll tell you a little story about it. Found the deal in March through some of my off-market marketing, and I ended up going to the house, putting it under contract for, what did I put it under contract for? Like 72 or 75, something like that, right? Had it under contract for a while, and the reason why is because COVID. And if you guys don't remember, when COVID hit, everything started closing down, the banks and things like that. They started heightening up their criteria in order to buy. So when I put it under a 90-day contract, I revisited the deal about 30 days before we were supposed to close, and I reran the comps, right? If you have things under contract for a couple months, you want to revisit the comparables before you close, right? Because you might find that some new properties closed in that street, in that area, and the values might have gone down or the values might have gone up. So I just wanted to make sure I was getting the house at a right deal. Now, I put it under contract for 74. I thought it was a great deal in March. I revisited the comps in May, and when I reran the numbers, I found that there was literally 3 properties that closed a couple of weeks after I put it under contract for 74 on the same street in the same area, and they were 10K less, 10 to 12K less than what I had put the property under for. So immediately I was like, okay, no, I need to have this deal at $60,000 to $64,000 instead of 74. Because if I try to run it at 74, the numbers aren't going to work, especially when I go to try to refinance later utilizing the BRRRR strategy. So I called the seller up and I said, hey, due to COVID, XYZ, the deal doesn't work for us. I know it works for you guys, but the deal doesn't work for us at that price point. Here's my new offer. I gave them a new offer. They accepted it, and we went to closing. So I ended up getting the deal for 64 instead of 74. So that tremendously helped. It gave me a 10K cushion, and so now I have more space and more room to renovate the house. And also it takes a lot more pressure off when I actually go to refinance the deal at the end of the day. So instead of me needing to sell the house and be all in and out of the deal at 90, now I can be all in and out of the deal at like 85, 82. When I refinance at 80%, I need to have the house valued at 110, which works perfectly, right? Works tremendous for me. So I now have 2 options that I can choose to decide on what I'm going to do with this deal. I can either flip the house really quickly, cosmetics, right? We're only putting 12 to 15 grand into this house, or I can keep it as a rental and utilize the BRRRR strategy down the road. So it's going to be very dependent on how long it takes me to renovate the house. Usually cosmetic upgrades and renovations are 10 to 12, 15K. They don't take long, right? So if I can find me a mortgage lender to allow me to refinance at that when I'm done, I'll keep it as a rental, right? If not, then I'm just gonna sell the house. Now the cool thing about it is that I'm an agent, so I can sell my own deals. But other than that, the deal's gonna look great. Like I said, we're gonna put carpet in there. We're gonna put new floors in there, paint it. We're gonna take down a wall or 2, and I might add a master suite on the 3rd floor. I did do a video yesterday showing the process of closing, and I also showed the house, so you guys will be able to see exactly what I'm talking about and some of the things that we're going to be doing in there. whenever you're doing a renovation, keep this in mind of the area, right? You want to look at the comparables and see what other people are doing in that area when they're renovating these houses, because you don't want to over renovate in an area that doesn't need you to over renovate. So this particular house, again, simple, small things, right? Drastic differences in the look of a house can be just the small things, right? So your light fixtures, cabinets, paint, countertops, just new appliances. All these things go into making a house look from regular, your average rental property, to something that looks like very desirable, right? And if you're gonna flip a house, there's a specific look that the house needs to kind of look like in order to make it even competitive with the other comparables. So just keep that in mind. In the notes that I need your help. Let me know what you need help with, man. I'm here for you. Golden Boy, what's going on, brother? Tippy Yo and Quan just joined. Camille said, nice. Sneaker Fiend's on. What's going on, Sneaker Fiend? You always here consistently. Thank you for supporting. Again, remember, ask any questions you guys need under the feed or in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer it. We haven't gotten a question yet, but I want to go ahead and get it started with some questions or some engagement. If you guys want to share where you guys are in your real estate endeavors, whatever the process is, let me know where you guys are at, and so we can basically rap about it. If you need help, I can offer that help. In the know, one says, I want to set up a meeting with you. Yes, you can set up a meeting with you, with me. Hit my DMs and we can talk, and we can rap and try to get you up and going. But yeah, I'm here. Basically, y'all share whatever experiences you guys have or some of the questions you might be thinking of. So other than that, while I wait for more people to file in, and Rich, I don't know where Rich is at. I hope he's coming. But anyway, outside of that, that is the deal that I did buy yesterday. I'm not planning on buying anything rental-wise for the rest of the year. Last year we bought 7 properties in 1 year. That's a lot. That's a lot of houses in 1 year, right? So seven houses in 1 year it took a while, but it was it basically clogged up my pipeline, right? You don't want to overextend yourself with these houses, because once you know how to buy, you can buy a bunch of stuff, right? If you're getting into the game to be an investor and to buy multiple rental properties over a period of time, once you know how to buy, you can buy consistently after that. Does it mean that everything you buy is going to be a good deal, right? So we accumulated 7 rentals last year. I think and then this year we only bought 1, which is one we bought yesterday. So I'm okay with that. I'm switching my focus primarily because of the market and because of COVID. Unexpected things pop up and things like that. And I feel like there's going to be a downturn in the market at some point in time based off all the rumblings that I've been hearing in the real estate community. So I just want to prepare and stack my bread. And in situations like this, if you look at some of the more experienced investors that were around during the 08 and 09 crash, what did? They bought properties and then they immediately fell in value. And the people that anticipated that downturn back in 08, 09 had stacked their bread, and then when property values went down, they were buying. They were buying. So at this point in time, what you're starting to see is a lot of people either selling their rentals or pivoting their focus into either wholesaling or just flipping to stack their bread, right? When the downturn happens, if it happens, you want to be ready. You want to be able to buy as much as you can at lower values. It's just like stock, right? You buy stock when it's at its lowest, and when things go up, guess what? You have stock that's valued pretty high, and you're going to see a very high return. So I'm looking at this at the same perspective. I don't want to buy anything at this point in time unless it's a home run. Right? If it's a home run rental, I'm pulling the trigger regardless. But average rentals, average returns, I'm probably going to pass on, right? Just because of the variability of the market. And 1 month, I could be sitting very good, and then the very next month, the house is valued way less than what I bought it for, and then I'm stuck in the deal, and I have no choice but to rent it out for the next couple of years until things turn back up, right? So That is why I'm going to be changing my focus into doing more wholesale deals and or flips. I know I said I'm not a flipping guy. I flipped before, but if I need to, I need to, right? So who else we got here? GME92, thanks for joining. Chloe Lavelle, what's going on? Thank you for joining. Again, if this is your first time here, ask me anything, everything regarding real estate or some of your endeavors that you wish to go into when it comes to real estate and buying houses and or selling houses. Feel free to drop comments in the section below. Also, if you want to join the live session, if you want to get on split screen with me, you can definitely do that as well. So just keep me in the loop. Let me know what's going on. I think Richard's going to be showing up around 12:15, 12:20, 12:30 maybe. Don't know yet, but we're going to keep this thing moving. We got Milan in the building. What's going on, Milan? All the way down there in Jacksonville. What's going on? Appreciate you showing up. We got Reggie here asking me a question. Do you think it's a good time to buy or wait till the market drops again? So if you're looking to buy your first home, right? Your first home, your primary residence, buy now. Buy now. That is my advice. Buy now, right? Because the money is cheap. When money is cheap, interest rates are low, you buy. You utilize that time to buy your first house, right? Because again, money's cheap. All the banks have heightened up their criteria in order for you to buy, which means higher credit scores are required, more money down is required, and so if you have money in the bank, right, and if you are eligible to receive financing through some of these banks, get in the game, right? Get in the game, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't know what these banks are going to do in the next couple months. We have no idea, right? When I say I'm not buying, it's more so from a rental perspective down the road. And also, I'm just trying to stack some cheese, right? I'm trying to stack some cheese so I can buy more next year, right? I already have enough. I have a foundation, a good foundation of properties, and I think I'm okay, right? But if you're starting to get in the game, look, I would pass on average stuff, but if something looks to be like a good home run and a good ROI for you, go ahead and pick it up, right? Go ahead and pick it up. So that is my philosophy. When the market drops, the one thing we do not know is when the market will drop, right? I would like to believe it's going to. We just don't know when, right? That could be 12 months from now. That could be 18 months from now. Do you want to be waiting around for 12, 18 months? And if that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine, right? But if you're looking for your primary residence, something that you want to live in yourself, I go ahead and start looking now. Inventory is low, money is cheap. Get in the game while you can, right? Because not a lot of people are trying to sell right now. So we don't know if people are going to be wanting to sell 6 months, 12 months down the road. So yes, I would look at it from that perspective. Again, we don't know when it's going to happen, and then if we're waiting, then we're just sitting on your hands and feet, right? Me personally, will have something else to fill my time and feel. I will have another avenue of making money and or acquiring properties, which is through wholesaling or flipping. So that's going to keep me going. But if you're not in the game to buy multiple rentals in a short amount of time, like I am, then I would buy a house that obviously is going to serve as your primary residence. Hi, Duval. Yes, we have Duval in the building. Me, Reggie, Milan, all straight from Duval. What's going on, y'all? Very good question. Yes, very good question. Milan, please feel free to let us know what you're doing down there in Jacksonville if you are trying to buy houses in Jacksonville. Let's see what we got. Kai the King just joined. What's going on, brother? How you living? Let's see what else we got. Oh, good question, Reggie. I appreciate that, man. Because again, not everybody knows. It's just like stocks, man. Nobody really knows what this market's going to do. You can only anticipate, right? And anybody that's not buying right now and is anticipating for a downturn, what they're doing while they're waiting is saving their money, right? They're either saving their money or they're trying to get money. So if you're not trying to buy right now, then maybe you want to sell, right? Maybe you want to get into wholesaling. Maybe you want to stack some bread, right? This is a perfect time to do so. You're looking at we're at a point right now where everybody's going through this pandemic, and you have owners, people that own houses that are finding themselves in financial trouble because one, they either don't have a job anymore, two, finances are looking a little skimp, right? Whatever reason, you're going to find an abundance of homeowners that are going to be looking to sell their homes within the next 6 months. So if wholesaling is something that you guys want to do, this is probably the perfect time to get in the game, right? Because guys like me, guys like everybody else that are in the mix already are going to be swooping in and trying to take these deals and make money off of them, wholesaling. So yes, who we got? We got Quan. What's going on? How do you determine if your area is a good area to wholesale in? Okay, just got a text from Richard. He'll be on in about 5 minutes, which will be good. Ari, Kiri, what's going on? Hurdy, Garad. I'm sorry if I butcher these names. Please forgive me. I do like shouting out anybody that hops into the live and joins, so I appreciate you guys. So I'm going to shout y'all out. And if I shout your name wrong, please forgive me because, sometimes the spelling is, kind of off. So anyway, how do you determine if your area is a good area to wholesale in? Great question, right? How do you determine if it's a great area to wholesale in? Are people buying in that area? Are cash buyers buying in those areas? Do you see flips going on? Do you see people buying in that area, right? That's what you want to see. If you have a desolate area with no comparables, guess what? That means nobody's buying, right? When you're wholesaling, you got to get the house under contract, right? But your main thing is you can't do the deal if you don't find a buyer in the area, if you don't find somebody that particularly likes that area, right? So, case in point, you go and you start looking on Facebook and these real estate groups and things like that, and figure out, hey, where are people buying, right? You can easily drop a status and be like, hey, who's buying in zip code 21217? Hey, who's buying in zip code 21224, right? And then you'll see a bunch of comments or whoever's buying in those areas. And that's a perfect way to find out, right? If you don't have access to the MLS or if you don't have access to some of the tools that enable you to find out whether people are buying in a specific area or not, right? That's what you want to look for when it comes to, is your area a good area to wholesale in? Because you can put a house under contract in an area that has, that somebody's willing to, allow you to wholesale. But if you can't find anybody that buys in that area, then what's the point, right? So go to Zillow, go to Redfin, go to some of these places, homesnap.com, and then look up recent solds in that area, right? And you look up within the past 6 months. Normally, I go back 1,000 days, right? When I go on the MLS, I look at recent solds within 1,000 days. That's what I was taught. But given the times right now and given the market and being volatile and all that kind of stuff, I go back about 6 months, right? I want to see what's going on within the past 6 months, because something that happened last year, June, last year, July, is completely irrelevant to what's going on today because we're in a pandemic. We weren't in a pandemic before last year. Now we're in a pandemic now. So I want to get a closer snapshot of what's going on in this area within the last 3 to 6 months, to be real. Right? And if I pull up comps and comparables within the last 6 months and I see that we have an abundance of sales, or we have a bunch of solds, that's the area you want to be investing in. That's the area you want to be trying to wholesale. Once you find buyers, you can also reach out to people on these real estate groups and investors and directly ask them, hey, what's your area? If you guys know anybody that actually invests in things like that, ask them straight up, hey, what areas do you like? What kind of criteria do you go for when you're looking to buy these homes, right? Your job is to find the end buyer. And so if you can find an end buyer that specifically invests and buys in one area, then what you do is you take that information, you go to that one area, you try to put something in the contract, right? And then you go back to that guy and say, or that woman and say, hey, look, I got something in your area. I know this is the criteria you like. Boom, here it is, right? I got something for you. You develop that relationship. They close on a deal. Then they're gonna be looking for you to do more deals in that area. So now you have a direct buyer for a zip code. Boom, you just start feeding them deals, right? You start feeding them deals. Look up your zip codes, look up your local zip codes, and see where most people are buying. You can you can even ask an agent, hey, can you show me or can you provide comparables for last 6 months of the hottest zip codes in the area where most people are buying at, right? And they should be able to provide a list for you. So that's what you can do to decide on whether an area is a good area to wholesale in. It does no good to put a house under contract and not be able to find a buyer. If you can't find a buyer, then guess what? You put a deal under contract for no reason. Then you got to go back to the seller and say, hey, I can't sell your deal, and that's never a fun conversation. So look, we got Aileen N18. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Again, guys, ask me anything, everything real estate related. Drop questions below. If you want to join the live, you can definitely join the live. Also, one thing I want to ask you guys, for the people that's consistently showing up, what are some of the things that you guys would like me or any of my guests to talk about specifically moving into next week's show and things like that, right? What do you want to see out of this? How do you want to see it evolve? What kind of engagement would you like to see? These are the things that I want to know, because I want to be able to help you guys in your endeavors and make sure that I lend myself to you in the best way I can, because obviously not everybody has help when it comes to investing in real estate, and nobody. It's kind of hard to get mentors sometimes, right? So I want to make sure that I offer myself and offer my knowledge and my experience to you guys, as well as bringing on guests. And if there's people you guys want to see on here, let me know. I'll try to reach out to them, right? I got an extensive network of investors and professionals that I look to bring on here. But if you guys have people that you guys want to see on here, then let me know, and I'll try to reach out to them and see if we can get them on here. Let's see what we got. Turnkey Properties. In the note said turnkey properties. What do you mean? Is that what you're looking for? You're looking for turnkey properties? Are you looking to buy turnkey properties? You're looking to stay away from turnkey properties? Expound upon that if you can, from brother. I'd appreciate that. Turnkey properties are great though, especially if you don't have the time to do any renovations, or if you just want something that's already set. The thing with turnkey properties is, if you buy turnkey property, it might be all set to go. No renovations, very little renovations. You might be able to put a tenant in there ASAP. But understand, long term, you're buying at the top of the market probably, right? And when you're buying at the top of the market, guess what? Your equity goes like this, starts to shrink, right? And the name of the game is to buy with some equity in the game. So unless you're in an area where the appreciation is going up, and I wouldn't buy based off appreciation, unless you're in an area where the appreciation is going up drastically, then you buying a turnkey property is probably, I'm not going to say it's not going to be the best thing for you, but you just know that you're not getting any equity out of it if you're buying turnkey, because it's at the top of the market, right? If you're in an area that's highly appreciating, then you're going to get your money back at some point in time down the road, because the area is going up, which means the value of your house is going up. But in turn, again, it's situational, right? For you, your personal life. If you don't have the time, the contractors and the people in place and the team in place to take on a house that does need a little bit of work or needs a lot of work, then you buy turnkey and you don't worry about that aspect of it, right? There's plenty of people that buy just turnkey properties. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I think I sold a duplex last year, wholesaled a duplex last year. That was turnkey, right? Guy wanted $150,000 and for his duplex, and I wasn't willing to pay that, but somebody else was, and I wholesaled it, and somebody was very happy with taking that turnkey property. All they had to do was buy it and immediately put tenants in there. That alone right there might be worth it for you, right? And for some people it is, so you just have to decide on what kind of properties you want to go for and what kind of time you are looking to put into these properties and effort you're trying to put into them. And if you're not trying to put anything into them, and you don't want to have to worry about the hassle and all that kind of stuff and trying to renovate and call contractors, hire contractors, all that kind of stuff, then buy turnkey. Just make sure you got a little bit of equity in it, right? Something. something. Don't buy if you don't have no equity, right? You don't know what the market's going to do, so you always want to be able to come in with some skin in the game. The house has some skin in the game. That's what you want, you know? So who else we got up here? Brittany Faye. What's going on, Brittany? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Again, we do have Richard coming in. He just texted me. He said it's going to be about 5 minutes or so. He should be hopping on any second. But again, we do this for y'all. We had a great session last week. I think we had over about 100 people pop in and out for the hour that we were on last week. It was probably like one of our biggest shows. So, hey, I'm appreciative. So we're going to run it back today. Let's see, real estate educational material suggestions. So, yes, here's the thing, right? And here's one thing that I started doing is on Twitter. I'm actually on Twitter consistently all day, every day, not tweeting, but more so just trying to immerse myself into the real estate community on Twitter, right? And what you'll find is that there's a lot of people selling product on Twitter. Right? There's a lot of people selling product on these social media platforms, right? And different from like Facebook where you start seeing ads for, hey, this course, take this course, take this course. You don't really know that individual, right? Because it's an ad. I go on Twitter and I can actually, the people that are selling the product, they're also tweeting about their daily lives and what they have going on. So you get kind of like a genuine feel about this person and whether they know what they're talking about or they don't know what they're talking about. And so I actually bought, like this past week, and actually today I bought an ebook off of Twitter. Somebody that I follow off Twitter, a real estate investor. I bought her ebook. I bought another person's ebook. So trying to look at different people in different markets and what they do is something that should be beneficial for you guys, because the name of the game is to learn from others, especially in this business. You want to learn from others and don't make the same mistakes that they made. And the only way you do that is by learning from them. So I would go into Twitter, if I was you guys, and try to immerse yourself in the real estate investing community and look at the people who are consistently tweeting about real estate and some of their ideals and things like that. If they're legit, man, if they offer a course, buy it, right? Sometimes this stuff only costs like $10, $15, right? That's a great way to get some educational material, even if it is surface level or basic. Sometimes there's small gems and things like that in these courses that you might not know, right? So that's one thing that you want to look at. Also YouTube, I also go to YouTube. Here's another thing. It is okay to go and take courses to be an agent, right? And I say that because even if you don't want to be an agent and you just want to learn more about actual real estate from an agent perspective or just the basics, you can go and take that course, right? And sometimes those courses are only $200, $300, right? And you got to go through 60 hours or whatever the hourly requirement is for your specific state. And you don't have to go take the real estate test after that. You could just take the course. And a lot of that stuff that's in that course is very good information for you to learn and know about, right? The different definitions, the different comments. Hey, we got Richard on. Send me an invite, brother. But some of those things are very good for you to learn. And so that's another way that you can learn about real estate fairly affordable, right? You can also go and spend the money and go to like Fortune Builders or things like that and spend $20,000. I'm not spending $20,000, right? But you can't go that route. I also did. Oh, here we go. Got Richard.
I also did buy. Hold on. There we go. Hold on, guys. We got Richard coming on. Make sure we can add him in here. Last week we had some issues with the Wi-Fi. I don't know if it was mine or you guys. Hold on, just a quick second. Trying to connect and get him in here. Hold on. Is it connect? All right, let's try. See if we can get on now. Rich, let me see. See what we got here. Trying to connect. Let me try. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you an invite, brother. Hold on. Where's Richard? Hold on, guys. Trying to connect and bring Richard on here. Let's see. Here it is. It says unable to join. I always have this problem. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Hold on. IG Live is hold on. All right. So while we try to work to get Richard on here, let me see. If you guys got any more questions, feel free to ask. Kwan asked me about real estate educational material. Like I said, those 3 options were really good. Taking your agent course. Going to taking an agent course, 60 hours or 80 hours, depends. Let's try this again. That's a great source. YouTube. And then also going on Twitter and looking at joining. Oh, there we go.
Yo,
What's going on, brother?
what's going on, man?
Another day, another dollar.
I can hear it. I hear it.
Another day, another dollar, man. We just been talking. We had a couple questions already, asking about educational material, where to go for it, especially when it comes to trying to get in the game. What's some of the things that I look at? I told them a couple things that I do. I don't necessarily read a lot of books, but I do look at ebooks, and then also YouTube. I do a lot of YouTube. And then also I told them about the taking the course to be an agent without going to take the test to be an agent. You can get the fundamentals of real estate and kind of understanding the different definitions, terms, loans, all that kind of jazzy stuff. That's great, right? $200, you take a 60-hour course and you come out with some very fundamental basics of what real estate is and how it works, right? So what about you? What have you used educational-wise?
Educational wise, definitely podcast were one of my biggest things that I learned a lot about real estate back in 2014, 2015, specifically Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets podcast has been a great resource. Even their website is kind of like a Facebook for it's like a Facebook for real estate investors. And it's just amazing, man. You can go in there and search whatever kind of question you have, and pretty sure there's been some type of conversation on it in regards to helping folks out and get some knowledge on the real estate game. And even on top of that, there's my blog, IamThinkingRich.com, where I've been putting up some pretty dope stuff for beginners. But if you want even more knowledge deeper knowledge on real estate and whatever else, as far as real estate investing, Bigger Pockets is definitely my go-to. I was a big book reader, so depending on what kind of books you like, of course everybody knows Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's Landlording on Autopilot if you want to be like a hands-off landlord. There's Landlord on Autopilot by Mike Butler. There's for just like business sense, there's The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. What else? The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. And these are just like off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of.
Definitely read way more books than I did.
Gary Keller's books though is A1. Like Millionaire Real Estate Investor, that's probably the only book you really need to read in regards to learn how to real estate invest. Or actually, there's Investing in Real Estate with Little to No Money Down. I think that's by Brandon Turner. Yeah. And then, if you want to learn about flipping, Jay Scott, he's like the goat on flipping. He has a book, it's called The Book on Flipping Houses. Jay Scott shit is pretty legit. But yeah, if you just want one little resource or just to check out some episodes, you want to listen to stuff, Bigger Pockets podcast or even their YouTube channel is A1 in regards to finding out some great information and not having to be stuck at if you don't want to read a book or anything.
Yeah. And Bigger Pockets always does a lot of stuff. They always put out a lot of content. I was going to ask you because a lot of people listen to podcasts now. I got a couple podcasts. I think I only listen to about 1 or 2 podcasts. I listen to Gary's podcast, and then I also listen to Max Maxwell. But what kind of podcasts or which podcast channels do you listen to?
So other than the Bigger Pockets on real estate investing, I listen to Tim Ferriss. He's the author of The 4 Hour Work Week. He has a
Yes.
podcast where he interviews some really dope people. I mean, his episodes are kind of long, but I mean, I listen to him on like a 1.5 speed or whatever, just to kind of
Yeah.
get through them. But
Yeah.
he interviews like some people that like angel investors who started from nothing and became millionaires, or like all different types of people who just like legit.
Yeah.
Other than that, I also listen to um, who is it? Malcolm Gladwell's podcast as well, Revisionist History. Other than that, I mean, that's kind of, Robert Kiyosaki has a podcast too, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
He has but I really don't like his tone in his podcast. He's kind of
Yeah.
disrespectful and a little
Yeah.
rude. Like, you know, he's a different kind of cat. So he kind of says shit that like, damn, you didn't have to say it like that. Especially when he has guests on, he's kind of like, you know, he kind of belittles or condescending sometimes in his tone and shit to the people he speaks to. And I don't have time for it. I don't really want to support it like that. I mean, he does have great knowledge, but he's also very old school and one track minded.
Yeah. Bad
so,
energy.
Yeah, bad energy. So other than that, I think that's it. Oh, there's one actually, I forgot, I can't go. There's one actually about billionaires, like basically interviewing billionaires and like how they got to where they are and things like that.
Okay. All right.
That's it on the podcast. I kind of slowed down on it.
Yeah. Oh, you, like I said, you got way more podcasts than I do. But depending on your style, right? Depending on your style, whether you like to listen versus whether you like to read. I'm a listener. Because I'm always kind of like on the move, so I rather, like I say, listen to something, put it on like 1.5 speed and just roll.
Yeah.
Me reading, and sometimes when I read, I get a little sleepy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, I think a good tactic though for me is like usually I'll stand or I'll walk, I'll pace back and forth or anything while I'm reading, and it definitely helps with like staying up or anything like that.
Yeah.
I bought a swinging chair that I have hanging from my ceiling as my reading section, and that definitely just puts me to sleep. So I don't even sit there to even try to read anymore.
Yeah. Creating that vibe. I got something else for you. Somebody asked, in the know, one asked about, and I kind of touched on it a little bit, but turnkey properties, right?
Okay.
What's your opinion on buying turnkey properties for rentals?
So turnkey properties basically meaning you buying a property with the tenant already in place. There's definitely an upside to it. A lot of times people really don't sell turnkey properties that are profiting. They sell it because they're getting tired of the tenant or they don't know how to manage the property correctly. So you can get it at a discount, or if they are willing to sell a property that's making money, you're going to be paying a premium. So it really kind of just depends whether or not you have the wherewithal or you can hire a pretty good property manager to get the place up and running. But I've purchased property a couple of times with tenant already in place. And if the tenant is not working out, by all means don't renew the lease and find a new tenant. But as long as if the property's cash flowing, anytime you're buying turnkey, you want to get from the seller, you want to get at least 3 months of bank statements or proof of payment from the tenant. If they're taking cash payments, that does not suffice at all.
No.
You want to have some type of paper trail that the tenant has been paying on time and in full, at least for the past 3 months, just to get a good feel of it. Otherwise, you could get duped with a tenant that hasn't paid in 4 months or something like that.
There's a lot of times where I've ran into folks that want to sell with tenants in place, and the one thing that at that point the liability is the tenant, right? And one thing I learned is whatever that tenant is paying in rent, don't run your numbers on the deal based on that rent, because they might be paying way more or way less than what the market is allowing them to. And let's say, for example, you buy the deal and next month the tenant is out and you would ran your numbers at 1,500, but the market is saying 1,300 or 1,200, and you go to try to rent it at 1,500, your ass out, right? And that might have been a negotiation between the tenant and the owner, the previous owner. That's one thing I do. Another thing, when it comes to those, another key question is,
do you have a lease? A lot of times these guys will be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, we don't
They'll
have a
be
lease. They're month
they'll
to
be
month.
month
I'm
to
like,
month.
yeah,
And I mean, even though sometimes it's like month to month, again, if I get proof that they've been paying on time and the full amount every month,
yeah,
then I'll just, even if I do buy the property, then I'll go to the tenant and say, hey, if you plan to stay, I'll need you to sign a lease.
yeah, yeah,
And then they make their own decision then. If they do decide to, sign a lease, great. If they don't, see you later. I market the property, get a new tenant. But even to
peace.
your fact about don't run your numbers off of what they're paying, so if you can really just cross check. So there's the website rentalmeter.com,
I use them.
which basically tell you what the market rate is. So if they tell
Mhm.
you a tenant is paying $1,500 a month, and you go to Rentometer and you see, the actual rate for that area and that type of house is 1,600 or 1,400, then you can kind of gauge on what you really need to run your numbers off of,
Yeah,
and whether they're overpaying or not paying enough, and you can actually kick that tenant out and, boom, put somebody else in there that can actually pay market rate.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
of
most
course,
definitely.
you can't kick any tenants out in the middle of a lease unless they
No,
agree to leaving. But you can give incentives, or even when you have a bad tenant and they don't want to leave or something like that, you can definitely give an incentive of, hey, if you move out by Friday, I'll give you $250 or I'll give you $300. And most times people will
they,
take it, and now
they taking
that'll
that
pay for
money.
their moving expenses. They'll take that, and then you had the property, fix it, like maybe slap some paint, slap some new carpet, and get a new
Yep,
tenant in there.
yep. I had a scenario where we had moved the tenant in back in January,
Mm,
to one of these properties I had got done doing some renovations on, and immediately as soon as they moved in, they paid 2 months in advance, and
okay.
immediately once they moved in, problems like lying attitude, just creating so many different problems, and they were very hostile,
Mm,
volatile. After 3 weeks, we literally were like, here, take your 2 months, take your 2 months rent back and your security deposit. I'd rather just not deal with the headache, and we'll put somebody else in here. And they gladly
man,
left. Yeah, like we couldn't physically kick them out, but we offered them their money back, right? And it
right.
just, we got lucky because, if you sign that lease, they don't have to leave, right? And luckily
Yep.
they kind of understood, and it was like, all right, yeah, like you guys aren't creating a good scenario for us, and if I'm looking at it, down the road, I don't think it's going to be a good relationship. So here's your two
Mm.
months rent back. Good luck.
You got lucky on that one.
Yeah, I did get lucky.
Okay, okay. What
Let's see. We
any
got
questions from the audience?
yeah, we got some new folks in here. We got Ayo Shad, Philly GT 20. I don't know if that's 20 or not. Jason Brody, Steady Clocker, Redman 561, Mia Samaj, my boy Brent, he's got some questions. What's up, Kings? If you are new working with HML, what should we prepare for? Congrats on the recent closing. Thank you. What is HML?
I don't know.
Brent, uh, please expand on that. Let's see. We got another question. Uh, what's your thoughts in regards to leasing over owning? And if I own, should I only be owning if I'm making money off of the asset? Also, damn, this is a long question. Also, wait, how do you, oh, and if I should, okay, the question is not, okay, basically, what's your thoughts regarding leasing over owning? And if I own, should I only be owning if I'm making money off the asset?
Mm.
Mm.
You want to take a shot at it first?
No, go ahead because there's an actual second part of the question. I'm trying to expand it so I can see
Oh,
the other
okay.
part.
Yeah. So leasing versus owning. I personally, I own the condo I'm in currently, but I wish I didn't at the same time. So
Oh,
things I've learned, like even from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, a home can be an asset or it can be a liability depending on whether or not it's putting money in your pocket or taking money out of your pocket. So if you buy a condo downtown and you're making the mortgage payments yourself out of your pocket, that is a liability. Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Now, if you buy a property and you rent it out, or if you buy a house to live in and you rent out the rooms and that property is now putting money in your pocket, then that is now an asset. So the only difference is basically when you buy in a property, do you want to have it as a liability or do you want to have it as an asset? Do you want it for personal use or do you want it to make money off of? I personally say, if you want to have something nice, rent a nice spot, only because the money for your down payment can go to making you more money. Whereas if you rent something, all you got to do is put first and last months or first and security deposit, which, could be, however many $1,000, as opposed to putting a down payment on a property is going to be a lot more expensive than putting first and last months. And so with that large amount of money, I would rather put it to something that's going to make me more money. So if I got $20,000 in the bank and I'm trying to figure out whether I should buy something for myself or buy a rental property and then lease something for myself, I would much rather lease something for myself, because then let's say $5,000 goes to getting me a nice apartment downtown, and then that $15,000 goes to my down payment on my rental property, and that cash flow is now paying for a portion of my rent and my nice ass spot downtown. As opposed to vice versa. If you bought the crib for $15,000 and you start living in it, now you got this payment and now you only have $5,000 left. It's like, all right, what you gonna do with that shit?
What you gonna do?
Nothing. So it's like, you can, but it's a little difficult. If you got $20,000, put the chunk of it towards something that's gonna make you more money, and then put the the remainder, a smaller amount, towards a nice little spot, nice little downtown spot in the city. Because if you get a house, you can rent it out for $1,500 and your mortgage is $700 or something like that, or all in you're $1,000. You cash flowing $500
easy,
right? Cash flowing $500 easy, and that $500 can basically help you pay your rent at the spot you got. If the lavish, nice downtown apartment that you got, as well as the tenants are paying your mortgage on your first property. So not only they're paying your mortgage on your first property, but they're also paying a portion of your rent at your nice ass lavish spot downtown. And that's kind of my viewpoint on it, of where I would put, let's say if I had $20,000, I would put the chunk, the $15,000, as my down payment on a rental, right? And you can even say, of course, you could try to finesse, and you could use your first time home buying loan on that property, because yes, you are a first time home buyer, but no, you're not going to live in it. Of course, you don't say that part.
Of course not.
And then or you can even buy it as a second home and then put a tenant in a second home. Like we spoke last time, it's just 10% down, whereas FHA or first time home buyers is 3.5% down. So you could do either route that way, of putting your money, your chunk of your money towards a rental property, and then renting something nice for yourself is the route that I would take if I could do it all over again.
Same thing. It's again, you want assets that are going to be able to bring you money. It's like I like the first house I got, it was a duplex, and you figure you're going to live in one side and rent the other side. Mortgage, I think the mortgage was like $1,000, and I rented the other side for $1,500. Guess what? I'm not paying my mortgage.
Right.
I'm not paying my mortgage.
Right.
That's a great feeling, That's a great feeling.
Exactly how it's supposed to be done. And even then, at the point of you, say you wanted to move and live in a high rise, you rent out the other spot, and you could probably make enough to pay your mortgage and your rent at a high rise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So great question, Twaney. He said flames with the answers. Damn, loving the answer. Great question, man. So we go back to Brent. He was talking about hard money lenders. So the question is, again, if we're new working with hard money lenders, what should we prepare for? Yes, I will. So if you're going to work with hard money lenders are not banks. Banks have nationally regulated criteria that they can't really deviate from. So it's either you making the cut, you cutting the mustard, or you're not. It's plain and simple. All the different products with banks are kind of the same when you kind of look at the numbers. They offer different incentives and things like that, but sometimes when you look at it on paper, it's all kind of like the same. Conventional is conventional, FHA is FHA, whatever other products are all the same. Hard money lenders are not banks. They are people who either have capital or they have acquired capital from other investors that they're promising a specific percentage on. So they're not nationally regulated, so they can offer whatever they want, right? They can offer whatever terms they want. They can lend to whoever they want to lend to, right? And hard money lenders is all based on personal relationship. So and some of the criteria that they look for is, one, do you have money, right? Do you have a little money in the bank, right? That's the main thing.
because you can have credit, you can have bad credit, and you can have some money in the bank, and they're gonna lend to you, right?
Yep.
You can also have bad credit and no money, and they're still gonna lend to you. It's all based on personal relationship and do they believe in you. For
Right.
example, my hard money lender, who I've been working with for a while now, um, I didn't have the greatest criteria when I first started, but we
Mhm.
went and sat down for lunch, and that was kind of like the quote unquote interview. And after we talked, he said, "Damn, dude, I believe in you. Like, we're gonna go ahead and lend, right?" And it's been a good relationship thus far, right? So if you could establish a good relationship with a hard money lender, great, right? But key things: make sure you get your credit in order, right? If you don't have the greatest credit, try to build up that reserve fund because hard money guys, they want to see skin in the game, right? Skin in the game is the main thing. They don't want to be lending to you 100% unless you're talking to a private investor. Also, keep in mind that with banks, they have these regulations, all that kind of stuff that you either qualify for or you don't qualify for. Hard money
Yep.
lenders, their job is to put that money out on the street, not deny people, right?
Right.
So they make money when they put it out on the street. So you want to go and talk to as many hard money guys as you can, shop just like you would shop with a bank, and just be as nice and personable as possible and make sure that you know what you're talking about because you might not have done a deal before. But if I believe in you and what you're saying and your ability, I'm going to lend to you.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, nah, I completely agree with everything you said, man. And I mean, that's a great statement to hear from somebody is that I believe in you, especially when they got the money to give. So them saying I believe in you is a great thing to hear to the ears. As far as hard money lenders, have I used hard money? I've used hard money once.
Yeah.
But of course, you're going to deal with higher interest rates than you will with the bank. But
Yes.
that's because you're getting quicker funding. So banks usually take 30 to 45 days to fund or close on a property, whereas hard money you can close in less than a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just kind of depends on them.
Yeah. Uh-oh. You guys got me? Uh-oh. Oh.
Hit my time limit on Instagram for today.
Oh.
But yeah. So like hard money lenders they'll fund you in 2 weeks tops, but their interest rates will be between the 10 and 16%, or actually you can get hard money now is around the six if you got a really good connection,
Yeah.
6% all the way to like 15%, maybe even 18%.
Yeah.
And they do, like you said, like to see money in the bank. A lot of times, even if you get 100% financing, they want to know that you have at least 30% of the money available in the bank, even if you're not going to touch it or you don't plan to use it towards this deal. They want to just see that you have some type of liquidity,
Cash
and
is
that
king.
your cash is king, credit is queen, man. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. We got another question. Now, Rich, I know you joined a little bit later. I can't remember when I started. Might have been like close to an hour ago. So if we do get
Mm,
that timer, I'll have to kind of jump off. Oh,
okay.
damn. I just got it. Actually, let's
Uh,
do this. Let's hop on. You got something to do?
no, not really.
All right. I mean, we can hop on again. We got a question. Let's see. Let's give this 30 seconds. What are your thoughts on buying a house in an undesirable neighborhood uh, because the price as a first-time home buyer for the purpose or renting it out? What are your thoughts on buying a house in an undesirable neighborhood, unsafe because of price as a first-time home buyer for the? Hmm. I
So
kind
wait,
of get
is
the
it
question.
it's undesirable and unsafe,
Yeah.
and you want it as a rental property? So who? I'm
Actually,
just
let's do this. I want to table this question for the next. I'm gonna hop on, and then I'm gonna redo another one, and
okay.
then I'm gonna answer this. Let's go dive into this question. That question's from Tippy Yo. Tippy Yo, join the next one. I'm gonna hop off and then create another one.
Tiffany.
Yeah, let's dig into that one.
All
Rich
right.
laughing. All right,
Bet.
guys. My time limit is up, but I'm gonna go create another one just because we're getting some traction and some questions. So I'm gonna hop off, join the next live. I'm gonna create it within the next 1 minute or 2 minutes. All right.